Washington State is home to 29 federally recognized Indian tribes that are making significant investments in the state's quality of life. They are large employers, fiscally independent governments, and contributors to the public good.
All around Indian country, we're seeing exciting changes in Indian communities. Economic changes, but then also changes in the quality of life brought about by educational investments, healthcare investments, social investments, environmental investments. It's quite exciting to be invited to document some of that with the Washington Indian Gaming Association.
Very substantial numbers of employees.
It's important for WIGA to sponsor this study because there's so much misinformation, I think, still out there in the public about the positive impacts tribes have on local communities.
1 out of every $100 derives from tribal sovereignty in Washington State.
So one of the impressive things about tribes in Washington over the last 30 years is the amount of growth that they've had. I think a headline number is that the tribes who participated in our survey, which was 22 of the 29 federally recognized tribes, have more than 29,000 employees.
Tribes together are one of the top 10 employers in Washington State.
Meaningful jobs, meaningful careers that help to pay for education, that help to put food on the table.
We're proud to be able to provide good jobs. We're also really proud of the fact that we provide good wages. We really pay well and really good benefits.
And then, as they pay their employees, most of whom, by the way, are not Indian, that ripples through the Washington economy. And that actually produces tax dividends to the state and local governments of Washington.
You can see the difference. If you go back to the 80s, Mason County, Shelton, to now, it's a different world. And there's no doubt that the local growth and the economy of the county and how much better they're doing, it's not a coincidence that has paralleled the growth and the success of our economy and our businesses.
Looking at the census data from a 30-year vantage point, we can see a really remarkable trend. Indian country in Washington State has experienced a 59% increase in per capita income. So that's the income earned by Indians on reservations in the state. That pattern carries through to other indicators of social condition and quality of life. For example, the number of college graduates, American Indian college graduates on reservations has about doubled in that 30-year period.
30 years ago, there was probably 5 Kalispels that had college degrees. I don't know if anybody had a BA yet, a 4-year degree. Today, you have 40, 50 tribal members at least that have 2-year degrees, 4-year degrees. We have a couple of master's degrees, a couple of PhDs. In my era, parents didn't necessarily support education because there was no jobs on the reservation. So if I support you going to college to get a degree, I was kind of saying goodbye to you. You couldn't come home and use that. Nowadays, you can come home and be chief of police, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor even.
And that's a testament to what the tribes are doing. The tribes are able to reverse a brain drain. They have a brain gain, if you will.
And that's only done because of the success of our economy.
Well, it's important for both the tribes and the general public to understand the impact of gaming and hospitality industry on our economy so that they know that the casinos and resorts and properties associated with the gaming industry are making a difference for our community and the many needs of our communities, as well as the state and the local community as well.
I think that there's a tendency to view a casino as a casino as a casino. But there's actually an important distinction about Indian casinos. They're government owned. They're government-owned for a lot of legal and historical reasons that are complicated, but the simple fact is that Indian casino revenue goes straight into the tribal governments, and that provides an amount of financial flexibility and a level of resources that tribes just never had before to put that money toward college tuitions, towards new homes, toward cultural centers, and a whole bunch of other wonderful things that tribes are building.
One of the most important things to us was to build the wellness center, the Camas Center. It's a gymnasium, it's a cafeteria, it's a swimming pool, there's a dental clinic, we have a medical clinic, we have our daycare in there. It's an accredited Head Start system.
We have 7 classrooms here, infant all the way through age 12. This is the only licensed child care center in Pontchartrain County.
To see the benefits that tribal gaming brings to our tribe and all of Washington is a huge blessing.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like you're moving as quickly until you look back and see everything that we've built.
1968 isn't that long ago, and yet our tribe had 1 telephone for the entire tribe. We had 3 houses that had running water.
So one of the features of Indian self-determination, that is the tribes taking control of their own affairs instead of being dependent on federal cash flows, is that they can turn those dollars into projects that they care about.
Our housing program, building roads, a new wellness center that will incorporate indigenous healing along with Western medicine.
There's a sort of stepping into the breach that the tribes are doing, primarily oriented towards the needs of the Indian communities, but have a lot of spillover benefits to the rest of the state.
As we continue to grow and become more successful, the kind of jobs that we create, the impact to the economy, impact to the tax base, et cetera, all show that we are making a difference.
I mentioned earlier that there's been a tremendous amount of growth in per capita income in Indian country in Washington. And that's a glass is filling kind of story. But the glass is not even close to full.
The study has shown that we've made a lot of progress, but we have a long way to go. And we started from a very low point.
So the most important message, I think, from this study is that, number one, sovereignty works. When we've been allowed to operate our own casinos, employ our own people and people in the surrounding communities, we've turned into a $7.4 billion industry in the state of Washington.
Am I proud of the success? Yeah, absolutely. Do we have a long ways to go? Absolutely.
I want to see a future for my tribe and all Indigenous people. And seeing all the growth and the gains and just the positive things that are happening to Indigenous people, it warms my heart.
The Economic and Community Impact Report really shows what we've always known, in that tribes are making huge impacts into our local economies, into our communities.
The tribes of Washington State are all pulling in the same direction, and it's a marvelous thing to watch.
Tribes have flourished and will continue to flourish.
When tribes are successful, we all benefit from that, whether you're tribal or not.